Alright, here it is, the universally anticipated sequel to my epic, incredible video from last week, whose name I don't actually remember. We're going in, and we are breaking into this vault that I made last week. So, first of all, obviously we have these doors. Now, what's incredible about this security is that it's guaranteed to catch any criminals. Because, as I'm sure we all know, when a criminal sees a person, they are morally obligated to hit that person. So, this gate here is guaranteed to catch any criminals while letting all the normal people through. Now, as a criminal here, right, not punching Greg, that's just not an option. We have to punch Greg. We have to find a way to punch Greg, but get away with it. So, luckily, I sort of know the inner workings of the bank here, because, I built it. And what happens is when you punch Greg, a tag gets added to you. So that means that if we could find some way to remove our tag, the doors would open. So in order to accomplish that, I kind of like the idea of like a splash potion, right? It's like you get in, suddenly you're tainted by having hit that thing, you throw the magic tag clearer down, and you lose your tag. What that means is all you have to do is make this potion actually remove our tag, which I suppose is the tricky bit. Actually, scratch that. It won't be that tricky at all. I think we can literally just have a repeating command block, and have that repeating command block remove the tag from all players near the splash potion. And I guess let's just give that a go. If we punch poor Greg here and then throw this down, it did not work. That's pretty cool. Okay, one NBT edit later, and let's see, we hit the dude, we throw it down, and we are clean. Alright, I'd say that is working perfectly, and we can move on to our next feature. So our next obstacle here is this hidden button behind this picture, which opens up this secret staircase. Now what I would kind of like is if this next gadget could reveal not only this button, but in fact just any buttons. So that way if you were breaking into like a different place with a different secret button, you could find that as well. So I'm going to kind of go backwards with this. I'm going to first show how we're going to reveal the button, and then I'm going to actually make the detection of the button. So the way we can make this reveal look kind of nice is with a falling block with glowing. So here, this block here is obviously glowing, and if we cover it back up with the painting, it's got kind of a cool effect here, I think. Now, obviously, the fact that it's stone is a little bit odd, but what I figure is just once the player gets close enough, I will just kill off the falling block, because it needs to get destroyed anyway. That way, there'll be no risk of the player seeing this weird chunk of stone in the middle of the air. So with that out of the way, we just need to set up the actual detector, which is a little bit trickier, to be honest. Now, typically the way I like to search for a thing like this is by filling an area to replace the specific block that I'm looking for. And I can fill with command blocks, which lets me run a specific command at the exact spot where the block is. The one problem with it is that, of course, then I have to replace the button once I'm done. And in this case, it's even a bit more tricky because there are 6 faces the button could be on. So I basically just have to check each one individually. Well, I decided there was nothing to do about that problem except just get on with it. And I feel like I might as well give you a quick update on where I am. If I summon this thing here, it makes this monstrosity, which looks bad but is actually good progress. As you can see, we've got both the stone block and the command block. So now all we have to do is kill off the thing and replace the button, both of which should be pretty easy actually. Okay, for my last test, I had actually tried it out before to see if it was working. This time it's completely untested, so let's see. That seems to be working. I placed it down. We have our nice thing there. Now the question is, if we get close enough, the new things are clearly not working. Okay, those were both just a couple of simple changes, and they kind of fixed it as soon as I put them in, but just for the sake of drama, let's go all the way. We put this down, we get glowing, we say, oh look, secret button. We get closer, the thing disappears when we get close enough, and then we break it, and the button is still right where it's supposed to be. So, I would say that is another one working perfectly, and now we should move into the vault. So down here in the vault, we have these super sneaky lasers, and when we touch them, uh-oh, the floor drops out and we die. What a bummer. So when coming up with how we were gonna get around this particular trap, I really tried to channel my inner thief. And it seems like the appropriate thing would be if you could, like, climb along the walls somehow to get around. Honestly, that seems like it shouldn't be too difficult. We just have to check if there are any blocks near us. And then if there are, we should just give the player levitation so that they can slide along. Should be pretty easy. I'm just gonna go ahead and put down the command blocks for it. Okay, let's just give this a real quick test and see if it's working. If I jump up against this wall, perfect. I am floating in the air. Now, the exact way this works, originally I was going to use some kind of like scoreboard objective and store the number of air blocks near me, and then I realized that was going to end up being more complicated than just checking each direction manually, so I decided to go with the simpler option. So, you know, remember kids, sometimes complicated is not better. Anyway, if we test that down in the room here, and we hop up on the walls, you can see we can just slide right over these lasers. And I believe, in fact, if we were close enough to the wall and we actually tripped, okay, maybe not. I think theoretically, if you were close to the wall and you tripped the lasers, you might be able to survive, but for the most part, that would be kinda tricky. Never mind, it wasn't tricky at all. And with that, we just have the chest, the locked chest. Now, if you remember, the way this locked chest works is it has some number stored in its NBT, and it will only open if you click on it with an item with the same name as that lock number. So what I want is I really want a key which can change its value based on what the lock value of the chest is. Will that be tricky? Actually, surprisingly simple, I honestly think. See, the way we're actually going to do this, I believe, is with JSON text, everyone's favorite. So you see, what we can do is we can actually have this piece of JSON text here, right? And what that does is when I run it, it actually gets that lock value from the chest and puts it in chat. The one hitch in that plan is that in order to make the name of the item actually be equal to that, we have to sort of send it through a sign to resolve that dynamic text into like normal text. A little bit of a pain, but really just like a 2 command block solution. Okay, I was testing. Turns out it's actually a 3 command block solution because for whatever reason, you can't get this, you know, block coordinates for your JSON text directly or from like relative coordinates like this. So a little bit more complicated, but I think only 3 command blocks. Okay, as promised, a 3 command block solution. I guess it'll be embarrassing now if it doesn't work, but I'm pretty sure it should if I throw it down and pick it back up. It did not work, darn. Okay, still 3 command blocks, but maybe now it does actually work. As you can see, we get the epic password key. And if we instead go ahead and set this password to something a little bit more ridiculous, I believe the key should still be able to pick it up. Yep, there it goes, it gets it, and we can still open our key, or our chest, whatever. And so, with that, I believe it is time to actually break all the way into this thing. So we're going into the heist land, for, conveniently enough, a heist. So, our first line of defenses is Greg here, right? We suddenly feel an impossible desire to punch Greg, and we do it, and oh god, we're trapped. But it's okay, because we have our magic tag clear. So now we can go, satisfied that we have in fact punched Greg. And now we get into the main room of the bank, and gee man, all these pictures are a little bit suspicious now that I'm looking at it. But which one is the magic button hidden behind? Well, let's find out. We place this down and there it is. So we go over, we break the picture, because stupidly enough, you can't click the button through the picture, and we press it, and secret passage. Now it's time for some lasers, which I guess it's already obvious how I'm going to get around them, because this bit is a little bit broken. But we can jump up and, oh, can I? Nope. Okay, well, hey, it's fine. We messed up the jump, but it's a-okay, because our magic climbing thing still saved us. And, oh man, this chest is locked, and our weird key does not yet work, but if we throw it down, and pick it back up, oh, it's got a new password, and it does in fact open the chest. So I think that's a fitting end to our little heist saga. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching me do all this building stuff, I guess. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.